Hello and welcome back to The Broken Doll. Today I come to you, and I mean day, it is daytime. It's about 20 after 12. I was going to say 2 o'clock. It's 20 after 12 here in my zone, and I thought if I was to make a video, make it now, because I was in the mood for it, so I thought, why not? This doll that I'm showing here is a great big giant. I think it's the biggest. Don't quote me on that, but I think this is the biggest that the Bisque Bilo baby came in. This doll was made by a woman named Grace S. Putnam, and her doll became very famous. At the time when she was looking for a baby to make a baby doll from, she went to an orphanage, and there she found a 5-day-old baby, and she sculpted this doll from that 5-day-old baby. There are pictures of her with that baby growing up as a little 5-year-old, and her with the doll in her arms. Well, in Grace S. Putnam's arms, I think it is. I can't remember exactly. You can look it up online. I would love to have that picture and frame it, and have that with my doll here. But anyhow, that's something I might look into down the road. The thing is that this doll here is the reborn doll of 1924. Why am I saying that? Well, the thing is, this doll was so lifelike. It scared a lot of people. Let's talk about that. When Grace S. Putnam had the sculpt of the doll ready to be shown to the toy world, she went to the factories or to the manufacturers with her doll, and she showed it to them, and the men of that day said, no, that doll is going to scare people. It's too realistic. No, we're not going to manufacture that doll and sell it. Well, what was she to do? Grace S. Putnam got thinking, and what did she do? She went to the women. And she went to the young women, the old women, and the very, very young women. And she gathered them up and showed this wonderful doll, and they loved her. They all cooed over her. They just thought she was a beautiful doll. It hit the hearts of many women out there who... I was reading an article, and in the article it said it hit the hearts of women who were barren, who could not have children, women who lost children, infants in birth and throughout their lives. If they didn't get too far in life, their arms and their hearts opened up to this doll, and they just wanted to hold it. So she marched those women up to the doll manufacturer, and they pounded it and said, you make this doll. And the doll was made. But it was a doll that was very realistic for its day. Why am I saying it's the reborn doll of 1924? It's because today, a lot of men chase those types of dolls today, the realistic dolls to collect. And they look for that how real can you get? Well, this says how real they could get for 1924. This is, like I say, the reborn doll of that day. Though it's manufactured, the sculpts are manufactured even today. They're manufactured sculpts. They go into a factory to be made. And so anyhow, the thing is that that's what this doll was. And it had the same level as a reborn doll. What a reborn doll does today, I should say. So that's why I say what I say, or, type of thing. But anyhow, she reached a pinnacle in the realistic doll world with this doll right here. And so that's why I stress this very much so, that this here, if you ever can get, now Bilos can go for very cheap at times. They can go expensive, don't get me wrong, they can be. It all depends on the grade of them and how they look, but and that's like any doll out there when you're going to purchase a doll. This here, I think, is the biggest that there is. I think she has a 17-inch head. We're going to measure. I brought my measuring tape out with me for her length. So she has, one of the ways that you'll know that you have a Grace S. Putnam doll is, sure, on the back of the neck will tell you. She's also can be stamped on her body, but she also is known for the froggy legs. Okay? So, taking that into account, we're going to just take her length here. She's about a 24-inch doll. She has celluloid hands. That was the early plastic of the 1920s, was celluloid. Now, I've talked about celluloid before because it can be, if left in sunlight, it had started many a fire in an old farmhouse with celluloid. A full celluloid doll on a straw bed, which some beds were back in their day, where they slept on straw inside their bedding, especially in farm homes and whatnot. I know I've heard even of some of my family members back in those days talk about how they had their beds filled with fresh straw twice a year, you know, and type of thing. And until they got themselves maybe a cotton stuffed mattress or whatever, but not unheard of. And so anyhow, celluloid is very flammable. It's from the gasoline family, petroleum family. So it can catch on fire and become very soft. So you just have to be careful with it. But you know what? I have mine in my back room. Never a problem with it. I have shades on my window all the time. My window is never open to sunlight with my dolls because I don't want them to fade. They're just like a painting. You don't want the paint to fade. So I keep them out of direct sunlight on a steady daily base. Can they be put in sunlight for picture taking? For sure. But I'm talking when they're day after day after day after day type of thing. That's where you can have some effect on the sunlight can have some effect on their paint and on celluloid as well. I always tell the little story that we had a store in my downtown area, and it turned into an everything store at one time, and then it became an antique store. It's become a variety of stores. And anyhow, in the window was a doll this big with celluloid hands. And I said to her, you might want to get that out of your window because of the celluloid hands. She goes, oh, no, no, no. I said, well, it's quite a hot day today, and celluloid and the sun don't go together. And I said to her, be careful, because I said it can become the celluloid can become very soft. She went to get the doll out of the window to show to me. She said, I'll show you, it's okay. She actually squished the hands. The hands stuck right together. She actually took it like this in her hands, and this just together, and she actually warped the hands because they were being affected by the sun. She goes, oh my goodness. And I said, yeah, it can start a fire. They've been known to. Now, the thing is, the doll has stuffing in it. So it's like putting a magnifying glass when they're sitting in a window right on, and you know how kids have taken magnifying glass and burnt a bug, you know, or whatever, you know, type of thing. The same thing. You know, you can start a fire and that's exactly what a window can do when it comes to these celluloid hands. But if you're using care, the celluloid will never be a problem to you. But it's just something you should know. That's all I'm saying. But we're going to change this girl. She is going to go into my butterfly kisses video. But we're going to let's take a look at her head here. I can't remember exactly. I thought she had a 17-inch head, or this doll came from Donna LeBrig's collection. She had this doll. I got it off of eBay, and I bought it from her. These dolls at this size can go for quite a clip of money. But I bought her a few years ago. Yeah, 17 inches is her circumference of her head. So anyhow, she's beautiful. I love this big, beautiful head. Whoever owned this doll kept her very well. But anyways, we're going to take... Now, you got to be very careful with those fingers because celluloid is brittle. Now, especially today it is. Now, we're going to bring this up over her head. I already tried on her dress. That's why it's this dress here is unbuttoned at the back right now. Oh, shoot. I meant to bring her arms through this way. Okay, let's just do that one more time. There we go. And we're going to do this one more time. I don't usually touch her too often, just to give her a light dusting, and that's really about it. Now I'm just going to use this for her head. Okay, as a little bit of a cushion. We're going to put this dress on. It has little rosebuds in it. I thought, now her little feet are going to show, but that's okay. We don't care. I gave this a little bit of a ironing and a starching, just to kind of give it some crispness, because it was sitting on another doll that was up for restoration, and I thought, oh, that's a perfect little dress for her. Now, I like the gowns on these older dolls at times, but you know what? Sometimes you got to mix it up a little bit, too. We're going to put her bonnet right back on her anyways, too. She's going to wear that bonnet. I think that bonnet fits her so well. But she's got a beautiful head. Just gorgeous. Oh, she's beautiful. Now, these also came in composition, and they come in a variety of sizes, even in composition. Here's another little tidbit of information. This doll is still being made today when it comes to, like, she was being made in vinyl right up into the 70s, 80s. You might even be being made today for all I know. She was also made in ceramic glasses. If you wanted to make a doll, this was one of the dolls that you could make. It was the Grace S. Putnam Bilo Baby head. It was always available to be made in in ceramic classes. You see a lot of them online that were made by people because they took ceramic classes. And that's that right there is just like, you're just like wowed, because this doll just has never ever died and gone away type of thing. She's just been always there to be to own. If you couldn't own one like of this sort, or an older one, you could always make your own. That was always there as a backup, you know, when it comes to this doll here. So she's a very famous doll and a very famous mold. You know, that's how loved she has been throughout the decades here. So, you know, wonderful, wonderful stuff, you know. Now let's take a look at her. I own 2 bisque bilos. I own a smaller one and this one here. But there she is. I say she's around a 6-month size, 3 to 6 months in there. If you're going to dress her, to look for dresses for her, you're going to look for 3 to 6 months. Isn't she beautiful? Let's get her. There she is. She shows so well. And she's just gorgeous. Her paintwork on her, this sculpt is just beautiful. Oh my goodness, she's just wonderful. And I just love her. Love her, love her, love her. You know, and a beautiful little dress on her to go into my Butterfly Kisses video. But I hope you enjoyed this and that you loved some of her history. And for all the reborn people out there that love their reborn dolls, let's just understand and know this is where you began. This is where we began when it came to the reborns. This here was one of their most realistic dolls that came out at the time. And you know what? It has to start somewhere. That ball just didn't start rolling on its own. It came from something, from somewhere, and we demand more realistic, more realistic, more realistic. And to where we are today, where they are very realistic, where people almost think they are babies, you know. So we've done very well in how far we come. I guess if Grace S. Putnam could come alive today, she'd be thrilled to see how her doll, how it affected lines of dolls down the decades here, and where her vision has wound up today in the reborn world and in other parts of the doll world as well. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video. I love the Bilo Baby, always will. It's one of my favorite. That's why I have so many of them. I have quite a few, and I love each and every one of them, from composition, from little size all the way up to this big, wonderful, luscious size. Oh, I think she's gorgeous. But anyways, thanks for joining me. More videos to come, and thank you for, like I say, join me. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you heard here today, and leave me a comment. I read them. I read each and every one. Thanks again. Bye-bye.